My name is Jack Sim. I'm the founder of the World Toilet Organization. 20 years ago, when we first started the World Toilet Organization, there were no media coverage about sanitation. They call it the water agenda. To decouple that and give sanitation its own center stage, we invented this World Toilet Organization with the acronym of WTO. And it plays a pun on the World Trade Organization and got the attention of the global media. They were, at that time, so uncomfortable to talk about toilets, poop, pee, sanitation that they call it a water agenda. So we put it on center stage, and the media loves our unique blend of humor and serious facts. So what has happened is that in the year 2001, there were 6 billion people in the world, and 40% of them do not have access to proper sanitation. That's like 2.6 billion people don't have a toilet. Today, the world population is 7.9 billion people, and that number of people who don't have toilet is 2 billion. So it has reduced from 40% to just 25%. The pandemic has actually killed more people in the developing world through hunger than through COVID, because these poor people earn $2 to $3 a day, and when they lost their source of income because of lockdown, they don't have food to eat and literally die of hunger. This is very, very sad. On top of that, COVID is fundamentally a hygiene issue. If you don't wash your hands, don't wear your mask, don't have some social distancing, your chances of getting COVID is much higher. Similarly, in the year 2003, there was SARS in Asia, and people were very careful and always washing their hands. But after SARS was over, they returned to their bad habits. Right now, because of COVID, the awareness of hygiene in the world is the highest since the beginning of mankind. I hope that after COVID goes away, people start to become more aware and continue to protect themselves and be safe. When I was in London yesterday, I walk around, I see people are no more wearing masks. I think it's not a good idea. Keep yourself safe and live a long life. When women don't have toilets, they have suffered all kinds of problems. First of all, when they go to the school and there's no toilet, then they could not change sanitary pad in front of the boys. So they drop out of school. And if they can't catch up, they drop out of school altogether. And when girls are not educated, then they continue to be poor. Also, women and girls that goes out to open defecate behind the bush, they are picked upon every single day. That's a big loss of dignity. Very often, rape occur when the men are aroused seeing a vulnerable woman alone. And sometimes, after rape, they were murdered. So just imagine not having a toilet, the kind of trauma, loss of dignity and safety. It's just terrible. So if any woman out there who is going to help other women, please help them on getting sanitation and also menstrual hygiene. When women don't have access to sanitary pads, they use all kind of rags and other like newspaper, even dry leaves and straws, and these are not hygienic, and eventually they have infection of their organs. And I think we need to talk about it. We need to make this priority so that it become normal for them to be safe and healthy. I'm calling for everybody to talk about toilets, sanitation, hygiene, and public health as if it is a normal subject from drinking and eating, because what goes in does come out. And the sanitation agenda competes against a lot of other agenda like climate change, like COVID. It also competes with Kim Kardashian's lunch and football and movies. So the reality is, if we lost the chance to speak about such an important subject, then quality of life of human being cannot improve. So what we think is the most important is every agenda should be accorded its attention and not just only talk about climate change and COVID and the ones that are well funded. I think that the toilets is affecting the climate change. 50% of all human excreta is not treated. It's dumped into the river. It's dumped into lakes, sea, open dams. And I think that all this create a shortage of clean water. And then this climate change itself is already creating drought and shortage of clean water. And if we pollute the remaining water that we have, that's even more serious. So I think we should recycle, reuse, treat this human waste as a nutrient and return it back to the soil as fertilizer and as biogas at least. In the history of mankind, there's so many taboos that people don't talk about. It could be about Black Lives Matter or slavery or LGBT or Me Too. And toilet is also taboo we must break. And because if we don't talk about it, we cannot improve. So what we need to do is ultimately to make toilets a normal subject that is no more considered rude. We have even to come up with glossaries of words that are gentrified, or at least change our mindset so that from the poor who don't have a toilet, they have to want to have a toilet and prioritize that versus the festival expenditure and the God's birthday expenditure. They could spend those money to build a toilet, to the public toilets that are dirty, and people should complain about it. And the more we talk about something, the more it becomes better. And I hope one day everyone, anywhere, will have access to a clean, safe toilet anytime they need it.